Okay, we're talking to Greg Newman, the mayor of Hendersonville since 2005.
Right.
You came out of nowhere politically to become mayor, winning by a large margin. What has this last 4 years been like as mayor?
Well, it's been a lot of fun. People will ask me from time to time, do you like it, or are you sorry that you got into it? And the answer is, I'm very happy, very pleased that I saw it and won the office. I really do enjoy it. I wish in many ways that I could just do it full time, because I think you could have even more fun doing it than I have. But no, I've thoroughly enjoyed the 4 years. It's been hectic at many times. I think the position of mayor is different than a lot of positions. People want a mayor that tends to want to solve problems. They're not really interested in someone that has a political philosophy or anything like that. And so it drew on my background as a lawyer, I think, real well, because in court we try to be resolution-minded, and that's what we have tried to do. We've seen, Bill, in many ways, we've seen a lot of exciting things come before the city council that I serve on, people that have a variety of ambitions, some realized, some unrealized. We've dealt with problems as they presented themselves, some that we saw on the horizon and we try to deal with them that way, others that just confronted us and we had to do something. The water shortage last year comes to mind. And we've dealt with a variety of growth issues that are very emotional for people. But by and large, it has been a very positive experience for me, and I think a 4-year period of time for me personally that I will always look back on very fondly.
Not long after you were elected, the city was plunged into this tall buildings controversy. Did the politics of that surprise you?
What surprised me was this: the emotional, the level of emotion from a lot of the public surprised me. And what I learned, not only from that, but from other issues that dealt with zoning and building and so forth, is that I didn't realize how sensitive that is to so many people. I also point to there's a new Walgreens on 25, and Cliff Freeman moved his car lot over, and they redeveloped that entire corner there. To me, it's very nice. I don't know how anyone would think otherwise, but at the time, even that was controversial. We've had controversy associated with the building on the south side down here. So anything that has dealt with changing, what is being built and so forth has surprised me in terms of just the emotional level that it seems to evoke in people. In the legal profession, I have dealt with emotional issues and people that are in some form of distress over the years. And typically, we're trained to think logically. What are our arguments? What are the points for or against something, and argue that way. But something that I was unprepared for was just the raw emotion of all of that. And but we dealt with it, and we were able to move beyond it.
Where the rules of evidence do not always apply.
That's right. That's right.
Another topic that has caused a lot of reaction is the downtown Main Street stop sign stoplight controversy. What went wrong there?
A lot has gone right, actually. And I will say this: I have learned more in these past 4 years about water, sewer, and stoplights than I ever cared to know. I can tell you what went right about it. You say what went wrong, but I don't know that anything went wrong, because what I look back and when I reflect on anything that has to do with Main Street is this: we as a council have been very willing to experiment with some things. Now, that does cause a fair amount of anxiety and maybe even consternation among some, but I don't think anyone can say that this council that I have presided over would just do nothing or ignore something in hopes that it would go away. I mean, we have been willing to tackle some things. We experimented, of course, a couple of years ago with just letting the overhead stoplights flash. Well, we moved beyond that and took a vote, which was still a split vote, to then go to the stop signs. It was. I think we had a fair amount of support, and yet a lot of the support was, it was fairly split in terms of who liked it, who didn't. And then we took another vote. We had a council election. The makeup of the council changed a little bit, and Bill O'Kane and I still voted to go forward the stop signs, and we were outvoted. So when we decided to go back to the stop lights, the ultimate goal was still remembered, and that being, let's get rid of the overhead lights as much as we can. We want to go underground with the utilities. It's expensive. It will take a long time, but this was an opportunity to do that. So we took that opportunity. A lot of the arguments were that you should have done it in the summer, it disrupted businesses. Listen, there's no perfect time to do it. And what we reminded people was that the price that was quoted to us and the award to Haynes Electric that did the job was only good right then. It is very presumptuous to say that, well, guys, how about you just come back in January and do it? They may not be available. That price certainly is not going to be available. And there's never a perfect time to do it. So I think, considering everything, the final product is very good. Downtown, at any stage of the year, is just a work in progress. That's never going to change. It is a dynamic place. And I think people that live elsewhere may not realize it, but when you come and have a business or a home right downtown, there's just going to be a lot of activity. And most of the businesses were very understanding and very supportive.
And as you go out, the city is talking about a convention center. What's your thought on that? Well,
I brought that issue up earlier this year, and the word convention center has been tied to this consultant that has been brought in now. And I was very concerned about the use of the word convention center, because what most people think, and the connotation is typically negative, because they're thinking of the Asheville Civic Center, which has been a financial albatross around the neck of Asheville for years. And in fact, many of these civic arenas are not particularly money makers. I can't speak for how well the Bilo Center does in Greenville. I know that they attract large acts and so forth. They may be doing fine. What I suggested was we want to aggressively go out and appeal to a hotel chain to come into downtown. Not up by the highway, but right into the center of town. Historically, we've had these before. It's been a long time. But there is economic activity generated if you have a hotel that provides you bed space and also meeting space. So what we wanted to do, and we thought it was proper, to go out and to have this consultant gather information so that when someone comes in, or if they show some interest, we have raw data to give them, and they can make some economic decisions that way. And they may even want to perform their own study, but this has more to do with not so much a civic arena as it does a hotel that can then provide meeting space along with it. That's sort of the direction I have see it going.
And that wouldn't have a lot of city public money in it.
That's right.
Okay. If you're able, name your, in a brief way, your top 3 to 5 achievements, top achievements.
When I came into office, and I was very sincere about this because I saw it firsthand, we needed additional police officers. In my opinion, you absolutely cannot get by on too few of your emergency personnel. So in talking to the police officers, and in fact trying cases where they were involved and seeing that they were strained from a personnel standpoint, it was, I explored that more in depth and was told that they needed more people per shift. We did that, and we provided that. In addition to that, we've approved and added additional fire personnel. The chief there expressed the need, and not only have we done that already, but we are also looking at adding another fire department. That to me was a large accomplishment for us, and I think very significant in terms of that. What I wanted to do, Bill, when I got into office, I wanted to elevate the position of mayor itself. There were a lot of people, and Mayor Niehoff did serve for 3 terms, but there were a lot of people in the community that did not know who the mayor of Hendersonville was. I found that. Now, I think if you lived right in town, and I think people did know that. But what I've tried to do is make myself more accessible. So I think I've probably been I would say, I don't want to say that it's to more groups than previous mayors have been to, but I have been very visible in the community and even outside the community. I mean, I'll be walking in October in Asheville with the Alzheimer's Walk, October 24th. I'll be participating in that. I've got now the county. I go to other cities. Been to Washington to represent the city. So I've tried to elevate the visibility of the position of mayor. So I believe that we've accomplished that. And I will just point this out to people. We are building. There are a lot of towns, even before the economic slide, where there just wasn't much happening in terms of building and business growth. And we have done this. It has not been particularly easy. I've already alluded to the Walgreens on 25. We have a lot of activity right now down in the south part of town. And we have talked, planned, debated development in other areas. So we have really done a good job in realizing development in certain parts of town that needed it. And we have we've talked about it. Talked about other projects. The other thing that I would say is this: we have added almost 75 to 80 acres of new parkland since I've been mayor. A large parcel of that is comprised out at Kimberly Clark. We entered into an agreement with them where they would give us the land, and then we would agree to keep that property strictly for recreational purposes. We also removed the conservation easement down here on the south side for the 12.5 acres there. That will be developed as usable park space sometime in the future. It's moved much slower than I care for it to. But that's going to be
Harris Teeter and Grove.
Yes,
yeah,
and that's going to be a very nice park space there. So I'm very proud of the fact that we have added a lot of land that will. Some of it's usable now. Some of it will be usable in the future, and I'm really proud of the fact that we've moved in those directions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. People say you might run for Congress. You haven't ruled it out, to my knowledge. Are you?
Yeah. Well, let's get right to it. Yeah, I am thinking about it. I will have a final decision, and because people have been kind and have have asked me very directly, and some not as directly as you, Bill, but that direct question is fine. I'll have an announcement to make either at the end of this month or 1st of October.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the job the incumbent Heath Schuler is doing?
Everyone has. It's like this as mayor. It's like it would be as a congressman, state senator, governor. Anyone. Everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own focus. What they, as far as what they want to do in the position that they occupy. And what I can say is that Congressman Schuler has been nothing but very pleasant to me. Anytime that we've asked for his help, he has made himself available to us. In fact, I can tell you this: there's only one number that I could call and have it answered in Washington. I think it's his office. So, but I think he is a very, very decent person and very pleasant individual. If I seek that position, and if he is the one which would presumably be the incumbent also seeking it, it would have absolutely nothing to do with him at all. It would just be, I think, a very difference in the policies that we would be, trying to champion.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else to add?
The only disappointment, let me just say this, that I would say, and I don't think people realize how close we were to getting a baseball team in town. And I say I'm disappointed that hasn't come to fruition yet. We still have not completely ruled that out. But I was excited about the possibility of that going in down at 7th Avenue. Not only because it's a business that generates revenue, the baseball organization itself, but because of what it was going to do for the 7th Avenue business community. And we have worked real closely with them, as you know. But I saw a lot of possibilities for really helping to raise the visibility and I think just the quality of revenue. And I think it was going to be something that the community down there could really embrace and get behind. And we were very close to that coming to fruition. So I just love baseball too. So I really had hoped that would have come about. Maybe it will someday, but that was the only thing. The other is this: the city is well staffed. When I got into office, I knew very few, heck, if any, of the department heads. Okay. And before my first couple of council meetings that we met before, they would brief me on the issues and so forth. And our department heads are very qualified people. They are articulate. They seem to be very knowledgeable of the substance of their job. And that's across the board. And I was very impressed by that, which is, the compliments go to Chris Carter, that managed the city for many years. I think he did an excellent job in identifying personnel and putting them in place. And I was involved in selecting Chief Blake and then police chief, more intimately there than with the city manager. The whole council worked on that, but Chris Carter and I, helped to select the chief, and Chief Blake seems to have been well received in town. The officers seem to like him. The morale of the department is high, and I say that I was glad to be a part of that. And it was a good department. Chief Parks, whom I'm very fond of, did a good job. So this was a good situation for Chief Blake, and I was glad to be a part of the selection of the new chief.
All right. Greg Newman, Mayor of Hendersonville, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been an honor.